I am going to knock out Mike Tyson, somewhere between round 1 and 10.
I'm the best in the world, the best in the world. You cannot duplicate me.
His personality is exactly how he fights. Boring.
They talked, they boasted, they swore they'd shock the world. But when the bell rang, all that confidence vanished in an instant. This is what happens when reality hits harder than words ever could. When the weight of all the pre-fight bravado comes crashing down in the form of cold, unforgiving punches. Some fighters believe they can speak their victory into existence, but in the ring, there's nowhere to hide. And when the fists start flying, the truth always comes out. Welcome back to Fight Story.
Watch me kick Tyson's
Mr. McNeely had a cute statement. I'm just ready to fight.
What is your weight?
Well, 220. Is
it enough for you?
That's perfect. That's all I need. I'll beat you at 200 pounds.
Remember, dog is cheap.
It was the biggest heavyweight fight of 2011, but depending on who you asked, it was either a battle for supremacy or a glorified therapy session where one fighter needed to be humbled. For 8 years, Wladimir Klitschko dominated the heavyweight division, stacking world titles and dismantling challengers with surgical precision. He wasn't invincible. He'd been stopped before, but under the guidance of the legendary Emanuel Steward, he had refined his style into a nearly unbeatable formula, making even elite fighters look utterly helpless. David Haye, meanwhile, had conquered the cruiserweight division before making the leap to heavyweight. He was quick, explosive, and had outpointed the 7-foot, 300-pound Russian giant Nikolai Valuev to claim the WBA world title. But outmaneuvering a lumbering giant and dismantling a disciplined, battle-tested champion were two very different challenges. Haye made more noise outside the ring than in it. He wore a t-shirt depicting himself holding the severed heads of the Klitschko brothers, spent years vowing to rid boxing of its so-called boring champion.
Wladimir Klitschko is probably solely responsible for killing the heavyweight division, for making sure that the heavyweight championship hasn't been shown worldwide. His personality is exactly how he fights. Boring. And that's exactly why he needs to be eradicated from the heavyweight division.
Things got personal in the face-to-face. Haye, as brash as ever, tried to rattle Wladimir with his usual trash talk.
Why don't you want to shake his hand?
I'll shake it when the referee says touchdowns at the end of the fight.
Why do you hate Wladimir Klitschko? It seems like you do.
Because he's clearly a dickhead. That's why. You heard him chatting just then. Hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. Just yabbering on about absolutely nothing.
The tension hit its peak when Wladimir was asked about the blatant disrespect of Haye's severed head t-shirt. But instead of firing back with words, Klitschko responded with an icy, chilling stare. Haye had all the confidence in the world, but Fight Night had only one question. Could he back it up? From the opening round, Klitschko established dominance. Jab, clinch, control. Haye, usually explosive, struggled to find an opening. Every time he lunged in, he was met with a stiff jab or smothered in the clinch. His best weapon, his right hand, was neutralized before it could land. By the middle rounds, frustration set in. Haye resorted to flopping, hoping for a point deduction.
David Haye's performance in this fight is becoming more and more disappointing with each passing round.
Klitschko remained composed, chipping away at his challenger with calculated efficiency. Round 11 delivered the fight's only official knockdown. Haye, desperate for any edge, took another dramatic tumble, but this time, the referee had seen enough. A point deduction followed by frustration from his fans. In the final round, Haye finally landed his best shot of the fight, but it was too little, too late. Klitschko had already dictated every moment, coasting to a lopsided decision. But the real spectacle came after the fight. Instead of admitting defeat, Haye removed his shoe and unveiled the infamous excuse, a broken toe.
Smashed. He's broke there. It's one of those things that injuries happen.
The excuse instantly became infamous, overshadowing any real analysis of the fight. The lesson? Trash talk sells fights. But inside the ring, reality always wins.
I was unable to push off my right foot and shoot in my right hand like I'd like to, and that's what I feel didn't allow me to open up and do what I normally do. Weren't able to throw big, powerful punches.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass.
The air was thick with tension. The heavyweight division had moved on. Champions had come and gone. But now, the most terrifying force in boxing history was stepping back into the ring, Mike Tyson.
Mr. McNeely had a cute statement. I'm just ready to fight.
Former undisputed champion, the youngest heavyweight king, the man who struck fear into opponents before the first punch was even thrown, was back. It had been 4 long years since Tyson last fought, 3 since he'd lost his crown, 2 spent behind bars. The world had seen glimpses of his shadow in training clips, but no one truly knew if the monster was still in there. Standing across from him was Peter McNeely, an undefeated but unproven brawler who had one thing going for him. He wasn't afraid to talk.
Hurricanes in the house! I am gonna knock out Mike Tyson, somewhere between round 1 and 10.
Do me a favor, try to work on your confidence a little.
How's that? How am I looking, baby? Hey, last but not least, midfield!
But all the noise faded the moment he locked eyes with Tyson in the ring, because this was no ordinary stare down. As the referee gave final instructions, Tyson's eyes never blinked, never wavered. He didn't just look at McNeely, he dissected him. A cold, dead stare, the kind that had sent shivers down the spines of even the best heavyweights in the world. Then the bell rang. McNeely, either fearless or reckless, sprinted across the ring and attacked Tyson like a man who didn't care what happened next. But Tyson wasn't there to trade punches. He was there to make a statement. 8 seconds. That's all it took. 1 counter right hand, and McNeely spun to the canvas. He got up quickly, desperate to show he wasn't afraid, but that was just the beginning. A few seconds later, a vicious right uppercut sent McNeely crashing to the canvas again. The crowd erupted. The referee counted, but the beating had only just begun. And then, chaos. Before Tyson could unleash another second of destruction, McNeely's corner stormed the ring, waving off the fight in sheer desperation. Just 89 seconds into the first round, it was over.
Please describe the right uppercut, the last one by Mike Tyson that put you down.
It was so quick, I didn't even know the damn thing was an uppercut. I didn't even know what the hell hit me.
Tell Ricky what's going to happen on November the 22nd. Domination. You'll be dominated. Simple as that. One word, domination.
Some fighters talk trash to sell a fight. Others do it because they genuinely believe their own hype. Paulie Malignaggi?
Do not get it wrong. Hatton, I got your belt, baby. Ricky! I got your belt, Ricky! I'm the best in the world. The best in the world. You cannot duplicate me. Cannot duplicate me. Talk all you want. Step up to the plate. Talk is cheap. Step up to the plate.
By 2008, Ricky Hatton was a national treasure in Britain. Part boxer, part pub legend, and fully adored by 20,000 fans who would follow him to the moon if he promised to fight there. But after taking his first career loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr., the hitman needed redemption. His comeback against Juan Lascano was shaky, but he got through it. Now he needed one more big win before taking another swing at the top. Enter Paulie Malignaggi, the New Yorker with a motor-mouth, quick hands, and the punching power of a well-placed insult. Paulie wasn't just confident. He was Paulie-level confident.
As long as Ricky doesn't run away back to England after catching that beating from Floyd, I believe Ricky has to step up to the plate and take on the young lions at 140 pounds. He doesn't want to do that. He's never done that. And I believe it's this time to show that.
He called Hatton basic, questioned his skills, and all but declared he was going to outbox the Mancunian legend.
Yeah, Ricky hopefully leaves his wrestling suit at home this time around. You know, leaves his tights at home. But yeah, Ricky wrestles. Hopefully comes to fight. He always tries to wrestle and fight it all at one, you know. But if he wants to come to box, tell him to show up. But hopefully he can make it a decently competitive by doing something special. Because if he's not maximally prepared, the fight's a one-sided blowout. I'm blowing him out of the water.
From the opening bell, it was clear Paulie had a problem. Hatton was relentless, cutting off the ring and launching vicious attacks to the body. Paulie tried to move, tried to box, but Hatton's pressure was suffocating.
And he had a hold.
And he catches Hatton with an uppercut coming in.
By the third round, Paulie's face was already swelling, and his usual confidence had been replaced with something else, concern. Every time he tried to create space, Hatton closed the distance. Every time he tried to land, Hatton countered harder. By the middle rounds, Hatton was in complete control. Paulie wasn't just losing rounds, he was losing hope. His jab, usually his most effective weapon, was getting smothered, and Hatton's power shots were taking their toll.
Big left in this round. There's another one in this fight.
You know,
Big left.
Then came round 11. Paulie's trainer, Buddy McGirt, had seen enough. Paulie was too tough for his own good, still standing, still fighting, but clearly outmatched. McGirt made the call. He was stopping the fight. Paulie, furious, shoved his trainer in frustration, but deep down, he knew the truth. Hatton had dominated him. The referee waved it off. It was over.
You would have had to knock him out to win the fight.
I understand. I understand that.
You don't knock people out.
No, I understand that. It's just like I'm better than being stopped. You know, Ricky fought a great fight. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a terrific fighter.
Just a humiliation for you?
Yeah, you know, it's a knockout on my record, and it shouldn't be, Larry. You know, like I was worse hurt in the Cotto fight. You know, I was worse hurt in the Cotto fight.
Anthony Pusiwa. You have the chance to fight the best.
Manuel Charr never shied away from a war of words. Heading into his 2014 clash with Alexander Povetkin, he exuded confidence, promising to expose the former heavyweight champion and claiming he would knock him out. Povetkin, on the other hand, wasn't much of a talker. He let his fists do the talking. From the moment the fight began, Charr realized he was in for a long night, or rather a short one. Povetkin came forward with calculated aggression, applying relentless pressure and cutting off the ring. Charr tried to fire back, but every time he committed, he got clipped. When he couldn't land, he resorted to taunts, because words were the only thing Povetkin wasn't countering. But the Russian powerhouse didn't bite. It just kept coming, methodical and ruthless, turning Charr into a stationary target. By the middle rounds, it was clear Charr wasn't fighting back so much as surviving. Povetkin teed off with crisp combinations, breaking him down piece by piece. Charr, now less fighter and more human punching bag, kept goading as if sheer willpower could change the trajectory of the fight. Then came the 7th round, Povetkin's exclamation point. A thunderous combination exploded on Charr's chin, sending him sprawling to the canvas. He tried to get up, but his legs had already clocked out for the night. The referee took one look and called it off. All the tough talk? Gone. The taunts? Silenced. When it was all said and done, Charr had plenty to say before the fight, but it was Povetkin who had the final word. Some fighters hype a fight, others hype themselves. And then there's Ricardo Mayorga, a man who could probably talk his way into a fist fight at a book club. By 2004, Felix Trinidad was a boxing legend, a multi-division champion, a knockout artist, and a proud Puerto Rican icon. But after his first loss to Bernard Hopkins, he vanished from the sport for 2 years. Enter Ricardo Mayorga, a man whose entire fight strategy revolved around 2 things: hitting hard and getting hit even harder.
Eats the punches and says, I'm coming right back.
He didn't care about technique, defense, or apparently personal safety. And when he saw Tito coming out of retirement, he saw an opportunity to do what he did best: run his mouth and start a war. Mayorga didn't just predict victory. He ridiculed Trinidad at every turn.
It was Oscar, it was then Roy Jones, and now this old wrecked and rusty car is next. He's going down. That's how I'm gonna have you, October 2nd. You see yourself here? That's how you can be.
From the moment the first bell rang, Mayorga did what Mayorga does. He kept his hands down, dared Tito to hit him, and smiled after every clean shot. For one round, it almost looked like the madness was working. Mayorga was landing, Tito was getting dragged into a brawl, and the crowd was loving every second. But reality came crashing down for Mayorga as Tito put on a boxing clinic, landing shots at will, breaking him down piece by piece.
10 seconds to go in the round as Trinidad corners his man and tries to finish. Huge punch under Mayorga.
By the middle rounds, the smile was gone. Mayorga's wild swings were getting slower. His chin was cracking, and his legs were starting to betray him. Meanwhile, Trinidad was in full rhythm, throwing crisp combinations, breaking Mayorga down one shot at a time. By round 8, the inevitable happened. A brutal body shot folded Mayorga in half, and he hit the canvas. He got up, only to get dropped again moments later.
Tries to unload the arsenal against Trinidad. Trinidad comes back.
He beat the count, but Tito wasn't done.
Never on the canvas before, twice in this round.
A final onslaught of power shots sent Mayorga down for the third and final time. The referee had seen enough. Trinidad had just delivered a systematic destruction.
Stop the fight.
Very smart call. Stop the fight. A few seconds before the 9th round.